Welcome. You are about to take a journey to a place of the divine love within with Deborah Beauvais on the Love by Intuition show. For the next hour, allow her to prepare you in becoming a magnet for a profound love-infused relationship by identifying and focusing on solutions through love. Awaken the light within and let your essence shine. And now, here's Deborah Beauvais on Love by Intuition, all part of the Dream Vision 7 radio network.
Welcome, everyone. Bonjour, mes amis. And yes, here I am, Deborah Beauvais. As I say every time, I'm founder and owner of the Dream Vision 7 radio network. And if you're tuning in for the first time, we are a Boston-based, fully producing internet radio station where you can hear us wherever you are in the world. You can ask Alexa to play. You can get our apps. There's all kinds of ways that you can listen. And we're on about 48 different podcast platforms as well. And so after our shows, off they go to the platforms. So if your favorite one is iHeart, you can listen there. This is a live show, and Bob is in the house. And you can call 833-220-1200, and you'll want to call with my guest, David Cunningham. Again, 833-220-1200. Well, my guest, as mentioned, is David Cunningham. He is a global thought leader and transformational expert whose program delivery has touched the lives of hundreds of thousands worldwide. His journey from his humble beginnings in rural Pennsylvania to becoming one of the most impactful facilitators of transformational learning actually mirrors the depth of vision and love expressed by some of my favorites, leaders like Wayne Dyer, Marianne Williamson, who I love, Tony Robbins, and Neale Donald Walsch. So we are going to be talking about his book, Your Love Does Matter, a journey to a new consciousness and expanding your love footprint. And so without further ado, David, welcome to the show.
Thank you so much, and hello to everybody listening.
Yes, you're welcome. It's an honor to have you. So one of the first questions that I'd love the listeners to hear is, you mentioned a book that will be delivered into the hands of every member of Congress, which truly excited me because they all need the book. And so and we actually found your video and we've been sharing that. So how did that all come about, and where is that? Did all these books that I saw be impacted, did they arrive to the administration?
Yes, it was, as I wrote the book, and I was really creating for myself that what I was having life be about for the next 30 years. I'm 74 years old now, and I thought, okay, what am I going to have life be about for the next 30 years? I chose love prevailing as the preeminent way of being on the planet. That, okay, that's now what there is to have life be about. Love prevailing is the preeminent way of being on the planet. And so to accomplish that, and I'm very serious about accomplishing that, to accomplish that, one of the pathways is to infuse the political system with the energy of love. And so that's where first two ideas came from. One was to send the book, Your Love Does Matter, to every member of Congress, the representatives and the senators, and to the president and the vice president, and to really get this message in their hands. Not, and I was very clear that it's not a message like, oh, that they should be more loving, because that would be insulting. And it's not a Pollyannish message, oh, wouldn't it be nice if we're all more loving? No, this is the message in this book is to empower their leadership so that they have an effective leadership, a leadership that leaves a legacy of love, and that a leadership that is constructive, really constructive. So that was one part of the strategy. And the other part is we're going to start in Pennsylvania, where I live. We'll be starting shortly We're going to start with the state capitol and go to the capitol every week for a year with a different love energy project. So the first week when we start, we're going to go up with, I do volunteer work with some gentlemen right out of prison. We're going to take that group of gentlemen to the Capitol, and they're going to deliver an orchid to every legislator. The next week, we're going to go up, and we're going to take a group of trans teenagers up, and they're going to just open the doors for every legislator as they come and go. Third week, we're going to take a group of moms on food assistance up, and they're going to deliver a letter of acknowledgement to every legislator. No political talk whatsoever, not a single ounce of political talk, just pure bringing love to the political ethos. And we're committed that if we did that every week for a year, we could make a difference, and we're committed that people in other states pick up that idea and run with it. So it's one part of what it's going to take to have love prevail on the planet is to infuse our political systems with love.
Exactly. And in essence, even though you're acting physically, in essence, as you know, you're raising everyone that's part of this daily situation in PA. You're raising the energy of love. You're raising so that people can feel that. Because I'm always thinking that if we could just connect with everyone's soul, and that if they could, and this is what you're doing, and this is what we think too, is to inspire every person to connect with their soul so that they feel the love that is there, and the love will exceed and just transform everyone's thoughts from there. I'm always thinking of those things so that, because that's the way to really save humanity, is for everyone to connect with what is already inside them, but they're caught up in the illusion of the world we live in. I think it's really important, what you're saying, really important for people to get that. I would never tell somebody they should be more loving. I would simply say that we are loving naturally, and that if something's in the way, for instance, maybe there's a resentment in the way, or a judgment in the way, or fear in the way, the job is not to become more loving. The job is to take away whatever is suppressing it, whatever's in the way. So if I can resolve your fear or disappear your judgment or your resentment, then you'll naturally love. And while resenting or judging has become normal for us as human beings, it's not natural. And there's a big difference between what's normal and what's natural. And I assert when people are free, they love. So the job is not to make them more loving, it's to free them up so that their natural love gets expressed. Very good, very good. So tell us about your journey as a child, because we all know that the experiences that we have when we're very young can color our, adult life. And then once we become aware, we want to go within and start looking at some of the things that we've experienced and try to figure it out so we can, be at peace with it. So you had a bit of a tumultuous childhood. And so tell us a little bit about that. Well, I think my very earliest memory, where I'd say it was my first time being aware of my soul, was when I was about 4 years old, and we lived in a small town in New York State, a town called Olean, New York, and we went to a very small neighborhood church. But I remember being about 4, and we were taken to a candlelight service in the night, so the whole sanctuary was just lit by candlelights, which I was amazed by. But then the whole service was, I don't know if you've ever seen, if you drive down the highway, there's places where they sell paintings on a canvas background. Usually it's a painting of like a tiger or a painting of Elvis Presley on a velvet background. The whole service was this artist painting a picture of Jesus on a velvet canvas. And it was Jesus blessing children, and there were lambs in the picture. And in my 4-year-old eyes, that was the most beautiful thing I'd ever seen. But the real awareness at 4 years of age was, I love.
Like I remember saying to myself, I love that much. As much as Jesus loves those children, I love that much. That's at 4. Then life happened, and then life happened. And, when I was about 8, my dad turned very violent in our home, mostly against my mom, just turned brutally violent. And I was like, wait, I thought we loved each other. Like, I thought the love should matter. Then my immediate family moved away from our extended family, from that town in Olean. We moved far away, and we were the first people to ever move. Nobody ever left. I remember driving away in the car, and I watched my grandmother literally collapse on the ground crying, like so upset we were leaving. And then I looked at my parents and like, are we just going to drive away? And yeah, we just drove away and left her there. So I started getting messages that as much as I thought love mattered, I started getting messages that it didn't matter. And then for myself, I started dealing with being gay and coming out as a gay man in my late teens and early 20s. And I got told that my love was forbidden, if not disgusting. It was like, so all of a sudden, that love that I knew I possessed and was so important to me at age 4, by the time I was in my 20s, it was like, I guess this really isn't important and doesn't matter and may even be unwanted. And and so it wasn't until I experienced my first transformation in a transformational program called the S Training myself. And then I met my spiritual master, my spiritual guru, her name is Saima, where I got, again, like my heart got open, my heart got touched, and I got so present to, again, that I love profoundly. And that's been my journey, and now I'm just wanting to open that door for others. No, we do love, and it matters that we love, and that's the message I want to get out.
Exactly, and you have done it well, that message. So when you speak of being in that space of just pure love and feeling it through every part of you, through every inch of you, every organ, you can feel the vibration of love. That's what you're speaking of, that you hope others will realize that they can feel that too.
Yeah, it's, if we relate to love as an energy, which I think you referred to earlier, relate to love as an energy, that the energy lives in every cell of our body, and it's a matter of being aware of it and awakening it and activating it. It's there. It's already there. It's just, can we bring our awareness to it, and can we activate it? Can we wake it up, so to speak? But let's take the case that the love is energy, as energy is already there in every cell of our being.
Yeah. It's hard, I think, for many of us, and I've thought about it during this time that we're in, how the light is usually wins, and yet the light is struggling now. And this is why those of us that are feeding love, why it's so important. But there are those that feel the darkness as more than the light, and how for those humans, souls, how do we get to their soul if they're resonating in such hate and division and retaliation on someone else? How do we get to them?
We love them, we love them, we love them, we love them, and we love them, and then we love them some more. There's nothing else to, trying to correct people or telling them the way they should be just doesn't work. It doesn't work.
Right.
And so the only thing to do is love them. And I for one have a daily practice in my meditation in the morning where I bring to mind anybody that, comes to my awareness of somebody who is, in some way bringing a negative energy there. And I just bring them to my heart, love them. And we have to be willing to live without a lot of evidence that it makes a difference, but be confident that it does, in fact, make a difference, that we generate our love for them and consciously generate our love for them.
Mm-hmm. Mm. Yes, I know that, and yet you have the you have the feelings will pop up, and people can become overwhelmed. There are a lot of people that are living in fear. They're looking for food. All these different things happen. So, but there's also miracles and blessings and such that go on, and I really feel that we need to, no, I always say we need, but we could, because I know you're really, language is important, and I may not be saying it the way that I have it in my mind, but not that we need to, but it would make all of us resonate in the love if we could all see that we can obtain it, that it's there, and that this is, what we're going through is actually a transformation, an evolution, all of that. And those kinds of things naturally can be painful, and people will perish and all of that. But what I'm trying to say is all of that is happening, and for many people it's tough. Even like in my own family, the people are having a hard time wrapping around. Some of us conscious people, some people that are well known for doing such great work in the Department of Love, they question, geez, this is really a tough time. So, but yet,
yes. Mm-hmm.
From a higher perspective,
right. Yeah, and I think one of the things that's helpful for people is to relate to love as a way of being. So sometimes people relate to love as an emotion, and I need to feel love. And if I don't feel it, then I can't offer it. So it's important to actually begin to break out, hey, maybe there's 3 domains of life. There's what we have. Like I have emotions and I have thoughts, just like I have shoes and I have sweaters. Emotions and thoughts are things we have. The thing to notice about what we have is 2 things about it is, 1, it doesn't really determine the quality of our life. I could have $1 million and be miserable. I could have nothing and be happy. So one thing about what we have, it doesn't determine the quality of our life. But the other thing about what we have is we don't have much say about it. I could have a car 1 minute, it's gone the next. I could have a job 1 minute, it's gone the next. I don't have anything to say about that. So the domain of what we have is where our emotions and our thoughts live. We don't have any say about those. We just have the emotions we have and the thoughts we have when we have them, then they go when they go. And the other important thing, though, is they don't really give us the quality of our life. So then there's a domain of what we do, like I give you a Valentine's Day card or whatever, right? The thing about the domain of doing is that it also doesn't give us the quality of life. I could be skiing in the Swiss Alps, miserable, and I could be cleaning the basement, happy. And we don't have total say about what we do. I could show up at the airport and on time for my flight and have my flight canceled, so I don't have a say about whether I fly or not. But this domain of being, the third domain, so there's what we have, there's what we do, but there's a third domain of life. It's who we be. There's always a way we're being, like generous or stingy, caring or cold, respectful or disrespectful, those ways of being. What there is for us to find out as human beings is, A, that is the one domain that is totally consistent with our happiness. If we love who we're being, we love our life, instant by instant. And if we don't love who we're being, we don't. So, for instance, I love being generous. And when I'm being generous, I love life. And the instant I get stingy, I don't love life. And the instant I get generous again, I love it again. So who we be is the one aspect of our life that gives us the quality of our life. And second thing about it is, it's the one thing we have total say about. Whether I'm generous or stingy, that's up to me. Whether I'm tender or cold, that's up to me. every minute of every day under any circumstance, no matter what I have or what I do. So I don't worry about having feelings of love. I can be loving, and then the miracle part is I start with being loving, and then the feelings follow. So for us as human beings, we have total say about who we be, which is good news because we love being loving. There's nothing that has us love life more than when we're being loving, and that's our choice at all times under all circumstances.
Right, and that's beautifully said, and that's the very good point. Is our choice. It always goes back to our choice, and so many levels in our everyday life. And it is a choice, and you can feel, as you know, when you make the choice of being loved, you can actually feel. You can feel. I always used to call them at the beginning of the journey is God tingles. I could feel all the pins and needles and tingles through my body. When I first started meditating back in the day and starting to become aware, that's what would happen. And so I would say, oh, I've got the God tingles.
That's great, yes. Yes.
We need to take our first break. Everyone, don't go away. We are coming back more with David Cunningham and all that he is being. Back in a moment.
Experience a different yet profound healing with Reconnective Healing. Includes yet expands beyond any and all known forms of energy healing. The Reconnective Healing spectrum is comprised of the full healing and evolutionary continuum of energy, light, and information. It allows for healings that are not just physical, not just mental, not just emotional, yet go beyond that to bring healing that includes the evolution of your very being and essence. Deborah Beauvais, trained and certified by world-renowned Dr. Eric Pearl, offers appointment hours at Seekonk Family Chiropractic in Seekonk, Massachusetts. For questions or to set up both distance or local sessions, call Deborah at 508-431-1959. Again, 508-431-1959. Or go to lovebyintuition.com. That's lovebyintuition.com.
Calling all authors. Have you been considering an audiobook? Well, look no further. Come take advantage of Dream Vision 7 Radio Network's unique in-house audiobook production, which includes benefits and bonuses from our radio station. Let our knowledgeable staff guide you to create the audiobook you've always dreamed of without breaking the bank. Check out our full one-stop service from A to Z, including the ACX process. Schedule a free consultation by calling 508-226-1723. That's 508-226-1723. Or go to DreamVision7Radio.com.
After narrowly surviving the attack on Sandy Hook Elementary, first-grade teacher Caitlin Roy DeBellis was left searching for answers that would never come. Eventually, she chose to focus on questions that could be answered. How do I make sure this tragedy doesn't define us? How do we get our control back? Those two questions led her to found the 501c3 nonprofit organization Classes for Classes. When gifts poured into their classroom, she decided they would help someone else by paying it forward and being kind. This developed into a social network which allows K-8 classrooms to connect so that every student in the United States can learn these crucial lessons. Classes for Classes' mission is to build students' social-emotional intelligence by connecting them to care. All C4C projects are crowd-funded. Any teacher in the U.S. can visit classesforclasses.org. That's classes, the number 4, classes.org. Sign up today.
Delight your kids with an enchanting journey by reading the Paper Doll Kids children's book by Deborah Beauvais and Janine Sullivan. There's even a catchy tune, Kids for Love Song, produced by Bob Sherwood and sung by kids just like yours. The story weaves around 7 paper dolls flying around the world doing good deeds as they bring important attention to our endangered animal friends. There's even a magical ring with a universal message. Kids become interested in service projects, action through compassion, and planting seeds that nurture positive change. The Paper Doll Kids and Kids for Love song are a production of the Kids for Love Project. Get the book now on Amazon Kindle and the song on CD Baby or iTunes.
This is Dream Vision 7 Radio Network, uniting mankind with universal love. Our shows are created from the heart, bringing each listener to a place of divine enlightenment. Breathe, relax, and enjoy. Let life flow.
And welcome back. There's still time for you to call 833-220-1200. As mentioned, Bob will put you straight through. But don't wait too long because the time goes by so quickly. We are with David Cunningham. He is an author. He is a global thought leader and a transformational expert. His commitment to equity and change moved him to advocate for on Capitol Hill, working for the rights of children, HIV, AIDS, and the LGBTQ plus community. He is everything you would want for someone representing and being love. And we're talking about his new book, Your Love Does Matter. And a lot of people will ask that question of themselves. Don't you feel that is true, David? Where, in your own space, a lot of times just going through life, you'll say, does my love really matter?
Yes, and we have to be willing, I think, to live without immediate evidence, not like cause and effect, like, oh, I want my child to behave, or I want my father to behave this way, and if I just love them, then, suppose I had an alcoholic father. If I love my father, he should stop drinking. And sometimes the universe doesn't provide us with that immediate, obvious evidence, and we have to be willing to stand for that our love does matter, even if we don't get that immediate kind of evidence we're looking for. That our putting our energy of love out does make a difference and does matter, even if we can't see the result immediately in front of with our own eyes. It does matter, and it's important for us to stand for that.
Right. And in the book, you actually talk about, it's like a visualization in my mind that you think of the person and you can go into their space, their love space, and just be there and give them love without them even really knowing it. Am I understanding that correctly?
Absolutely, and anybody listening, you could just close your eyes for a minute and envision somebody that you want to love that's not with you physically. So for me, it's often my grandchildren who live in Connecticut while I live in Pennsylvania, and I just close my eyes, I envision them in their rooms, in their house, and then I bring to mind and visualize the space around them. And then I visualize the space around them just lighting up and being just a whole blanket, if you will, of love that just wraps around them. And it is so satisfying. It's surprising how satisfying that is. I can't be with them every day because they're a 5-hour drive away, but I can actually have the experience of wrapping them in my love every day. And it is so satisfying beyond anything you would really imagine.
Agreed. And a lot of times if you've had like a disagreement with someone, I've done that. I do bubbles. But I've done that where you put yourself and the person in the bubble and color it a color that you would like or that you think they would like, and just connect with the love. And it's always like, as we learn, that we can't change a situation or someone, as you speak of so well in the book, but we can change the way we perceive it or the way that we're thinking it through our mind. We can change that, and then if we work in that area, we can actually change the relationship. I've experienced it where I feel more love and more comfortable around a person that I may have a disagreement with, or something bubbled up in it. And
Yes.
it just smooths things out. We can change our own thinking. We cannot change someone else's.
Beautiful. And we can, one thing that I do oftentimes is I close my eyes and I imagine holding the person in my hands, and then I bring my hands slowly to my heart. And as I place them, I literally visualize myself place them in my heart, and it's surprising how resentment dissolves, anger dissolves, fear dissolves when we place them in our heart. So that's also something that works, is to literally imagine holding them in our hands and bringing them right to our hearts and placing them in our hearts. It's amazing how that dissolves any of the discord with another person. One important thing, though, too, is to, we often, our disagreements with people, if we have disagreements, are often around who's right and who's wrong. So that's one of the things I really want to support people with is I have this radical view, Deborah. It's this radical view, which is we've never been right. I've never been right, and I've never been wrong. Nobody has. We have our views of life. And if you're in front of my house, you have one view. If I'm in back of my house, I have a different view. To argue which is the right view would be silly, wouldn't it? So they're just different views. So with people, a lot of our discord is we've got caught up in a society like somebody's right and somebody's wrong. What if nobody's ever right, nobody's ever wrong? We just have our views of life that we can appreciate each other's views without arguing which one of us is right. A lot of the discord we're experiencing disappears in that when you approach it from there.
Yes. One of the things in your book that I really thought was important, and it really touched me, was speaking things into existence. For example, if you think someone is, let's talk about if someone is speaking in a sense where maybe their memory is going. If you actually speak that to another person, you are making that, there's life around that sentence. And now the person that you're sharing that with now has a whole different perspective about the person with the memory loss. That is so powerful that you wrote that, because we all do it. And to be cognizant of what we're saying or what we almost will say, we can catch ourselves and say, no, I am not going to put that in the ethers.
Isn't it valuable? Yeah, it's the important thing is to distinguish between a reality and the truth. Like, we create reality. So I was guilty of this for a while, that I spoke about, if you heard me speak about my dad for many years, you would have heard me say, my dad is closed-minded. Now, I didn't at that point realize that I was creating a reality versus the truth. Who knows what's true? I don't know if it's my dad's closed-minded. That's like you can't prove that true or false. But I definitely was creating that reality for myself and for whoever listened to me. So if I told you my dad was closed-minded and you listened to that, then you never met my dad, but you assumed there's this closed-minded dad out there. And that impacts the listener too. So if I tell you my dad's closed-minded, then you listen to that, then all of a sudden you're living like, oh, there's a closed-minded dad out there. That impacts you emotionally, spiritually, mentally, even physically. So for us as human beings to be aware of, when we speak, we create reality for whoever listens to us. So including ourselves. So to be very cognizant of that, like, so I stopped saying my dad was closed-minded. I just stopped saying it, and guess what? It disappeared as a reality. And once we do create a reality, though, the other fascinating thing is when I would say my dad's closed-minded, then I would see evidence for it. Like even the way he folded the newspaper became evidence for that he was closed-minded.
Yeah. Yes, I understand. So I mean, that is so powerful. Yes, but what you wrote, just that, was so powerful when you honestly read it and know it, because we all do that. It's humans speaking and thinking, or not thinking and speaking.
Yeah,
and one
exactly.
One of the other things that the questions, if you really look at them and when you buy the book, everyone, Your Love Does Matter, A Journey to New Consciousness and Expanding Your Love Footprint, when you really read it and own that there are times when you have done that, you can improve on it. You can change it if it doesn't feel right for you. But one of the things you're speaking of is, say, leaving a family gathering. If everything was replayed, I'll put myself in there. If we replayed everything that I said, would one hear love? That's the question you put out. When leaving a family gathering, if we replayed everything I said, would one hear love? That's another powerful question. And any time that we're together with family, friends, or even colleagues, it's good. Or even, as we know, if we're at customer service, or any of that, did we leave them feeling loved and seen? Because we all need to be seen. Did we leave that with them, or did we not?
Yeah, I so wish that we're paying attention. The world's beginning to pay attention to our carbon footprint. I'm also inviting us, asking us to pay attention to our love footprint. And it's just what you're saying, Deborah. Like every time we leave an interaction, a short one, a 60-second interaction with a clerk in a store, or dinner with our family, or working with a colleague for a year, every time we leave an interaction, what did we leave behind? And if you look at it on a spectrum, at one end of the spectrum, we could leave behind argument, disagreement, opinion, prejudice, judgment. Somewhere in the middle, we might just leave behind indifference. Or at the other end of the spectrum, we could actually leave behind the experience of love. That the other person, when we walk away, they have a greater sense of themselves. They're enjoying their life more because we loved them. And it's our love footprint. So I know for myself, as I plan my day, I think about where am I going to go today and who am I going to see? And then I ask myself, what love footprint do I want to leave behind? And then after I leave the situation, I ask myself, how'd I do? I grade myself. I usually give myself a scale of 0 to 5. And go, okay, if I get a 5, I left love behind. If I do a 0, oops, I made a mistake there, right? But I grade myself too. And it's a very useful, I find it very, very practical way to actually to honor our commitment to love is to pay attention to what is our love footprint of every interaction we have with any human being.
Another powerful nugget to hold on to, and then remind ourselves, because we all get caught up in the day-to-day, and even though we're obtaining as much as we can to live in the present, some of these things kind of fall to the wayside, and we have to kind of pull them back in and remind ourselves. So I thought that was excellent.
And we can think of it too. You know, a friend of my mom's. My mom is 99. All right, and she lives in a senior community, independent living in her own apartment in a senior community. But I was just visiting her this afternoon, and she has a friend, 94 years old, who shared with me. She just read my book. And then she shared with me, she said, I was in the grocery store, I was reaching for something on a shelf, and somebody banged my cart behind me. And I was about to turn around, she said, and complain to the person. And she says, but in the split second before I turned around, I remembered that I had a love footprint. So she goes, when I turned around and instead turned around to like be gracious with the person. She goes, and it's a good thing because it turned out to be my own daughter, which was the coincidence. But what I loved about that is in the split second that she had to turn around, she thought of her love footprint, and it shaped how she was going to be. I loved that. If it can be in our consciousness like that.
So beautiful. Yeah, that she stopped and paused. And then, isn't that something? Mm-hmm. So see how the words, words matter. Words are powerful, and the messages that you're leaving all around touched her as well. Well, we're going to be taking a break in a couple of minutes, but there's so many things I wanted to get into, and one of them is how do I live fully with the life that I have, whether it's someone that has an illness and such, and it's all about acceptance. So can you start sharing about that, and then we'll pick it up when we come back from the break?
Yes, very, very important. Is, there's, for most of us, there's the life we have, and then there's the life that we think we should have. We live in a mistaken reality that, one life is better than another. So it's really important for us as human beings to be able to live the life we have. If we think there's a better life or a different life we should have, then we don't live the one we've got fully. So acceptance is a really important aspect of that. And most people think acceptance is saying something's okay or that it's an approval of something. How about acceptance is not that at all? Acceptance is having something be just what it is. If I accept that it's raining, I'm not saying it's okay that it's raining. I'm simply saying it's raining. And then I can live powerfully in the rain. I can take an umbrella or a raincoat or whatever. So acceptance isn't making something okay. That's hard for us. How do you make having cancer okay? Or how do you make losing a child okay? You can't do that. Mm-hmm. So you don't, when you try to accept, I lost my child passed away, you can't make it okay. No, it's what it is. Oh, so I can accept it for what it is, and then that's my life. I wish I had a different life, but I don't have that life. Which life do I have? I've got the one I've got. So the question isn't what life should I have? The question is, how do I live the one I've got powerfully? So rather than trying to think that there's a better life, it's a myth that one life is better than another. It's all made up. There's no such thing as a better life. That's just a concept that God made up, that some things are better than others. It's just life, and we have the one we have. Okay, now how do we live it?
Right. It's a hard one when someone, has passed, especially a young person. It is hard it takes time. And sometimes longer than a lifetime. Actually, I'm thinking of my niece's anniversary today. Was an overdose, and young, 19, gorgeous girl. And so my sister-in-law naturally struggles with that every day.
Oh, I'm sure,
and,
yes.
It's everyone has trauma and tragedy. Everyone does. But we're going to take a break, and I want to do a shout out in Jody Halliday's memory, and we'll be back.
Take a journey to a place of the divine love within with Deborah Beauvais on the Love by Intuition Show, Monday through Friday at 6 p.m. and 6 a.m. Eastern. Our message is love in the purest form. The light within us all is a guide to recall our beginning, to learn to love self and humankind, and to feel the higher power of our own divinity. To attract love, one needs to be loved. Come join us and step into this glorious vibration called love.
Delight Delight your kids with an enchanting journey by reading the Paper Doll Kids Children's Book by Deborah Beauvais and Janine Sullivan. There's even a catchy tune, Kids for Love Song, produced by Bob Sherwood and sung by kids just like yours. The story weaves around 7 paper dolls flying around the world doing good deeds as they bring important attention to our endangered animal friends. There's even a magical ring with a universal message. Kids become interested in service projects, action through compassion, and planting seeds that nurture positive change. The Paper Doll Kids and Kids for Love Song are a production of the Kids for Love Project. Get the book now on Amazon Kindle and the song on CD Baby or iTunes.
Are miracles real? Can you move from mayhem to miracles? 30 prominent authors say yes as they share their high fives and down lows of challenges, abuse, addiction, and love. Experience hope, the magic elixir of miracles, through the personal stories of New York Times best-selling authors James Redfield, Dr. Bernie Siegel, Sister Jenna, Reverend Temple Hayes, and many more. If you like bestsellers, chaos to clarity, and crappy to happy, you'll love crying and laughing through mayhem to miracles. Sacred Stories of Transformational Hope. Available now on Amazon and in bookstores worldwide.
It's a child's job to play, to learn, and to have fun. It's an adult's job to keep them safe. Did you know that 1 in 4 girls and 1 in 6 boys will be sexually abused before the age of 18? Every day, families enter the Children's Advocacy Center because a child's courage to tell someone what happened to them. Keeping our children safe starts with a conversation. This is Michelle Aranger, Executive Director of the Children's Advocacy Center. Learn more on how to keep your child safe. Visit cacofbc.org. This message made possible by the Fall River Rotary Club.
This is Dream Vision 7 Radio Network, uniting mankind with universal love. Our shows are created from the heart, bringing each listener to a place of divine enlightenment. Breathe, relax, and enjoy. Let life flow.
If you'd like to get in touch with David Cunningham, go on his site, yourlovedoesmatter.com. Again, yourlovedoesmatter.com, and there's a lot of information there. Is there any other way that they can reach you? Is there another website, David?
No, that's really the one. I have everything there, including some offers. Like I've got, I led some beautiful guided meditations that have recordings there people can get for free. And
nice.
If they watch, I'm going to do 2 free calls coming up later this month to prepare people for the holidays. How to make sure that they're able to generate the kind of loving environment they want for their friends and family over the holidays. So I'll be doing some 2 free calls on Zoom for that later this month. That if people go on the website, they can get the link for those and join me for those calls if they like. But it's like you said, yourlovedoesmatter.com. Everything's there.
Very good. And from being a gay man and in the world that we are in today and working with the LGBTQ plus community, I'm an advocate for. And what do you see happening in your own life and working with the community that can be improved? And my first thought is teaching everyone about self-love, and that's how people will open their minds and embrace everything. I mean, the whole thing is what have we learned as a species, when I think that back in Jesus' day, it was accepting everyone, celebrating differences, celebrating someone that wants to color their hair and wear different clothes. Let's celebrate it because we're all so precious and unique. What are you seeing? I mean, we're all in New England, so we're in a good space. But so, what are you seeing, and how can people, each individual, do a better job of showing their love or being loved?
Yeah, well, I really enjoy the whole notion of bestowing grace. I think that's a beautiful notion. My mom raised me to live in Christ's example. And you know, if I had to say one way you could express that is Christ would have bestowed grace on everyone, right? So what's an easy way to frame that is just wish people well. You know, I don't have to agree with somebody. I don't have to like what they're doing to wish them peace, wish them health, wish them joy, wish them love, wish them just wish them well in their life. So bestowing grace is, I think, an easy access, and we love it. It's not even, it's the person that bestows grace on another just loves the experience of being them when they're bestowing grace. When you wish another person well, you're happy. It's
right.
It just is what makes us happy as human beings is to wish other people well. So we should get smart about that, right? I want to be happy? Good. Wish other people well. Bestow grace. So, yeah, we can walk through the world bestowing grace on each other.
Yes, well said. And then another thought is, in your book, the question is there anyone that can't be forgiven?
Well, forgiving, let's again clear up. Most people have a mistaken notion of forgiveness. Most people think if I forgive somebody, that means I condoned what they did, or I approve of what they did, or I excused what they did, or I'm going to let them get away with doing it again. Forgiveness is none of that, Deborah. Forgiveness is simply a choice we make. Am I going to live a resenting life or a forgiving life? See, the thing is that somebody did something and we stopped loving them and we started resenting them. That was our choice. Okay, well, we should notice that when I'm resenting them, I'm not happy. So, and it doesn't accomplish anything except that it makes me miserable because I'm miserable while I resent another person. So forgiveness is forgive. I give my love back like I did before anything happened. And it just acknowledges that something happened and I close my heart to you. And I'm going to open my heart to you again. That doesn't mean I let you get away with that behavior. It doesn't mean I approve it. It's just I open my heart to you. I give you my love again. And then that's when you and I as human beings, again, we're like at peace, is when we're loving, when we forgive. Resenting is so hard and so difficult. It is so unpleasant. When we are at peace as human beings is when we forgive. Just give our love back. And it doesn't condone, approve, or excuse anything. It's just our choices about what life we're going to live, a forgiving life or a resenting life.
Right. And that's it's really for us is why we forgive. And so many people have a hard time with that. But another thing, and time is going by quickly, is you actually experienced a stroke. And it wasn't it was quite a trauma. But I know that because you resonate and be love, that helped you heal. Could you speak to that?
For sure, yes. I had a stroke just about a year ago now. So it was hospitalized for a few weeks with that, and it was quite a shock. That's for sure. I wasn't expecting to have it, but while I was going through the whole process, what I discovered was a couple things. One is there's no circumstance under which we can't generate love. So, I found myself on a gurney, in a hallway, in a hospital, surrounded by chaos. And I found out, wow, even in these circumstances, I can love this person. I can generate love for everything going on around me. That was a big lesson. In the face of that chaos, I could still generate love. And the other thing I realized is that it really was empowering to be present to the purpose for, why, okay, I'm going to live. What am I going to have my living be about? And that was a choice I got to make. And that's where I resolved if I'm gonna live, I'm gonna have my life be about having love prevail on the planet. Okay. And that was really empowering. And then a third lesson was really good, was that it matters to receive love. And when I was going through what I was going through, the outflow of love to me was surprising to me. And
in what way, David?
Was it surprising? I don't know. I guess I don't know. I didn't think I mattered. That I don't know. It was like it surprised. People were so like. I had my stroke out in California, but I can't tell you the number of people said, I'm going to fly to California, and my spiritual guru called every day, and it was the outflow of it was just more than I expected or more than I anticipated. I just didn't have that sense of myself that I engendered that much love coming my direction. And so it was surprising, but I found it really important to receive it and to accept it, to let it in.
Yes.
So to let love in as much as generate it, it's a two-way street, and it really is. And we want to be able to let it in, and even if our ego, we get a little embarrassed or something, let it in, accept it, receive it is as important as giving it.
Perfectly said, and that's so true. Is we at times in a situation like you're in, you're going through a trauma, and it's so important to receive that love and care, and to ask for help too. That's a powerful thing to actually say and mean, and just let it all come in. Well, we're out of time. If you could just take maybe 30 seconds, what do you want to leave the listeners with?
We have a love footprint. We do. And we can be conscious of that. We can actually live consciously and on purpose, like intentionally, bring love, spread the energy of love to this planet. We have a love footprint. Let's expand it. Beautiful.
And everyone, go to his site, David Cunningham's site, yourlovedoesmatter.com. Thank you so much, David, for joining me, and I've loved every minute of it, and I can feel your beautiful energy. So I thank you for that. And
same. It's been wonderful. Thank you.
Good. I'm glad that you have enjoyed it as well. And for everyone out there, listen to the show, share it with your friends, re-listen, buy the book, Your Love Does Matter, A Journey to New Consciousness and Expanding Your Love Footprint. Until we come together in unity, consciousness, and love, of course, and it all starts with us loving ourselves first, and then expanding as what we were just talking about with David Cunningham. Be love. Until we come together again, au revoir.
Are you seeking a clearer path to love? Then tune in to the Love by Intuition show next week, all designed to your highest good. To contact Deborah Beauvais, owner of Empowered Connections, call her at 508-226-1723. That's 508-226-1723. Or link on to lovebyintuition.com. Remember, we are all one, and we are all part of the miracle of love.
This is Dream Vision 7 Radio Network, uniting mankind with universal love. Our shows are created from the heart, bringing each listener to a place of divine enlightenment. Breathe, relax, and enjoy. Let life flow.